The weekend review's back. We've got a new panellist. We go over all that's happening with Rugby 360. Will the Bears get their first signing? What's going on there? We talk about the joke of a bout between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. Surely the fix will be in on that one. And of course, Ashes preview. Will the new quicks for Australia be able to fill the void? And is Baz Ball just going to fall in a heap on the quick and hard pitches of Australia? I'm Ian Hawkins, and this is Sport is Life. The purpose of sport, as I see it, is to see your vision become a reality. Find your voice, create strong connections, and learn to trust your body. The week in the review is back. Missed it last week. Apologies for that. Ben is taking a little hiatus. He's got a bit of stuff going on with his family at the moment, so he's taking some time off, but stepping up to the mark. You would have heard him on the NRL season review. Stephen, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks, Ian. Look, happy to fill in. Must have been our fans demanding something, but hopefully we'll have a good time, a few laughs this one, and cross off a few other sports.
Absolutely. The demand to get you back was off the charts, mate. It's the most it's the most response I've ever got. Which
my mother must have been listening, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Mrs. Cato. I'll get him back on. Probably the biggest talking point, even though we're cricket coming up for us footy fans, R360. Do we think it's real yet?
Well, look, it's certainly these last few days, it seems to have got a little bit of momentum, hasn't it? Obviously, Pappenhaus been caught on planes, the Lomax movement, even the Payne Haas, Willie Won'ty. Every 10, 15 minutes, there's a new story released about re-signing with the Broncos or going to Rugby 360. So I think he's still on an island enjoying some family time. So I don't know whether any decisions are being made, but look, it certainly seems to be growing some legs. There's no question about that.
100%. It's funny you say that. Yeah, he's on an island, and yet every day there's a different story about it.
Yeah.
We were talking about this the other day when we chatted. The footy season just never seems to end now. There's always something. They're still doing the Triple M NRL podcast, which I listen to. They're still churning out 2 episodes a week, and there's plenty of content.
Yeah, it's the gift that keeps giving. I mean, even you talk about the proper rugby league. Most of the clubs back now doing pre-season. So you see all the players back. You're starting to get some of the stories come through. Not a test match ball has been bowled yet, and we're already talking about rugby league for next year. So it's the gift that keeps giving.
And I'm that excited about the new season.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what's your take on the Rugby 360, mate? You think that there's a bit here now?
Yeah, maybe, but we'll carry on. It's not like we've seen league players go across the union in the forwards. Even Sam Burgess ended up playing in the centres, I believe. So it's not like we're going to have like a whole lot of the forward pack being taken. It's only going to be the ones who actually can transfer over. I think there might be a few backs that might be chasing some cash, but I just come back to looking at what some of the players that have earned millions and some of the players that chase big contracts, and then you hear down the track that they've got nothing to show for it anyway. Yeah. So I reckon some of these players forget. PVL's telling them to be careful, make sure you get the money up front and all this sort of stuff. I'd be more thinking about, I'd much rather be doing something that I love, because I'm just thinking, what if Zach Lomax goes there and doesn't enjoy it, and then he's like, God, I've got to do this for 10 years. Like, then what?
Yeah. It's a really interesting one. There's a lot of different layers to unpack. I only come across and read an article a few days ago. There's not a lot of apparently there's not a lot of word in the rugby side of it. So whether this is just the rugby league news engine just churning more stories through that aren't really there. I know there's a Rugby World Cup coming up, so potentially they're all trying to make sure they play in that before they jump ship. But yeah, I think there's still going to be a lot of front page or back page articles written about this Rugby 360 before it's over.
Absolutely. Now, as a
Oh,
Dragons fan, that would have been fairly bitter at and plenty of jokes about Zach Lomax going to play in the centres at Para and playing most of the
yeah,
year in the wing. There
yeah,
must be
yeah,
part of the Dragons fan that's secretly think that's pretty amusing.
yeah. Look, mate, he's a winger, right? He's one of the best wingers in the world, plain and
Exactly.
simple. And he'll probably do exceptionally well in Union as well. Don't get me wrong, but I feel for the Para fans. Like that was a big signing, and then from the day one when he did sign, he just went to another level for St George as well. Played
Yeah.
Origin,
Yep.
represented his country. So for Para to only get 1 year out of four out of him, I'd feel pretty ripped off. Truth be told, if I was a Para fan, but look, it's to your point. By this time next year, there'll be another 10 or 15 young fellas come through that'll be grabbing the same highlights and
Yep.
scoring the same tries, right? So
Yeah.
if they do go, it'll be a disappointment. But look, there's no shortage of people trying to put their hand up and play first grade in the NRL.
And it'll be the pain will be eased if we sign Kalomatangi as well. So
Yeah,
we've now got 650 to 700 to throw at someone else. So it really depends
yeah,
on what comes out in the wash. And to me, that's signing someone like that would be far more exciting than a winger. Let's be honest.
yeah, 100%. We spoke about it last time we caught up, but Riles just seems to be that cool customer, just pulling the strings in the background. You haven't
Add
heard
someone
any
else.
panic coming out of
No,
Para at all. So yeah, it's another good sign for you guys at the Eels moving forward.
absolutely. I tell you what doesn't seem to be moving forward. The mighty Bears. Like, what, have they signed anyone? Like, I
No,
know people are saying it's only
yeah,
been 17 days, but like,
yeah,
it's the 18th of November. Like,
yeah.
the Dolphins were cranking out some really good names. They had the Bromwich brothers pretty early in the piece. Um, Katoa, who else did they have? Like, they were really active. It's
They were.
concerning.
I was expecting November 1, just bang, some headlines, some big announcements. I know Munster's locked in with Storm. Grant's just about to sign. Certainly Munster was a target for them publicly. So, as the time ticks on and the 360 is only another competition for them as well for players. So if they don't start to get a wriggle on soon, they're going to find themselves in a bit of trouble. Unfortunately, Mal hasn't got the best record of signing players and managing the cap. The Titans were an example of that, where he paid monster money for a few forwards that, while Tino's certainly done his job, a few of the others haven't come through. So, a little bit concerned about the poor old Bears, unless there's something happening that we don't know about.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've got to find 30 odd players fairly sharply.
be a long term project, shall we say?
Well,
Um,
yeah.
there was one other bit of news which really sad. Eli Katoa sounds like he's going to miss the whole of next year.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the footage, but people keep talking about the hit he got in the warm up, and it sounds like it was pretty horrendous. It's unbelievable that they still sent him out to play.
Yeah, just I have seen it, and it was big for them to look. I understand, he's a warrior and he wants to represent his country, all these things. But sometimes when you've copped a head knock, you've got to get protected by yourself. And just for him to go out, regardless of whose fault, and there'll be a lot of continued finger pointing.
Yep.
Just can't happen. And for a young fella like that, to have his health that affected, he's been in hospital for a long time, and then to be out for another 12 months, and look, may never come back.
Yeah.
One of the best second rowers in the comp last year. It's sad. It's a reminder though that you get a head knock, you just got to look after yourself.
Absolutely. I feel like we might have cursed him because I was rapping him deluxe in that NRL season
Yeah,
review. We were talking about what he'd done in the prelim and the granny, and yeah, sad.
yeah,
And you're someone that knows, like you played at the Dogs as a young man, and the main reason you quit was because of the concussions. Well, firstly, the Bears might be giving you a call if they haven't signed anyone soon.
I don't know about that, mate. It may have been a lack of talent why I quit it, mate. Not some head knocks, but no. Look, it is 100%, and each year they're getting bigger, stronger, faster. The head knocks are bloody serious, and what did he cop 2, maybe even 3 on the one day, and those repeated ones really are the ones that do damage, right? So it's it's not good. So hopefully, look, him and his family. Don't worry about rugby league's the last thing they need to worry about. They just get healthy and get back to normal life.
Absolutely. Had the concussion specialist on the other week, Lisa Kramer, and it's one of the things she talked about is it's so important that they don't get another concussion when they're in that healing phase. And she still thinks, I told her we have the 11 days here. She still thinks it's nowhere near long enough. So it will be really interesting to see what unfolds in that space. Boxing, for example, I think it's 3 months mandatory stand down. And speaking of boxing, Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Now, surely this tells us once and for all, not whether Paul can box or not, but whether it's a fix or not. Because Anthony Joshua still looks in incredible shape. He should beat the fuck out of him, surely.
surely he has to, Hawk. Genuinely. They got my money with the Tyson fight. They fleeced me with that. They won't get my money this time, rest assured. But I will follow. It's one of those things where it's are we sure this is fair income or not, sort of thing. But like Joshua's been around, right? Like he's
only 2 years from being world champion, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. So surely. Surely this is a fair dinkum fight, or it's going to stand out a lot more than the sad affair that we saw with the Tyson fight. But look, who knows what boxing is going to show up at the best of times, let alone when a Paul's in the ring, right? So we'll see what happens.
Exactly. The Tyson fight, remember they were releasing footage of him training, and he looked unbelievable. We didn't see any of that, not even for the first 30 seconds in that fight. So
no. Well, that's why they got the money. The old memories of Tyson. So I thought, I'm in here. Can't wait. The funniest part of the whole, not the funniest part, I guess maybe the saddest part of the whole fight was the in the locker room, the pre-fight interview when Tyson's only got his jockstrap on and showed his ass for the whole world to see. That was about the highlight of the fight, unfortunately.
Well, there's been other people that have made money from past exploits too, like the Zoo Boys, for example. They're certainly making plenty from their dad's reputation. Yeah. Now, we probably should mention the Ashes, given it starts in a few days. By the time this episode releases, I mentioned to you at Chappelli on yesterday's episode. What a great chat and what a great fella. Still pinching myself that I managed to jag that one, but it was a cracker. Let's talk the Australian bowling attack, and they're all over 36, I think I read, and two of them are busted. One of them seems to be always busted, Hazelwood.
Yep.
Are we worried?
Oh, look, I only just before we hopped on, I saw Cummings has been bowling in the nets and bowled full tilt. So to your point, they're 36. Probably chances of them getting through 5 tests in such a short period was probably up against it anyway. So, if we hold our own without them early and they come back and might play the back 2 or 3 even, might be a blessing in disguise. Because I think, that hot summer in Australia, 5 tests, the media is going to be absolutely everywhere they go. The crowds are going to be full. So it's going to be a really intense summer. So, look, hopefully, Boland's in. We know what Boland does. The crowd will just go berserk every time he touches the ball anywhere in the country. It looks like Doggett's probably going to get that maiden cap for the other bowling spot.
Yeah, I'm excited by that. Him in the Shield final last year was unbelievable, and I thought he was maybe 130 clicks, but I looked it up. Apparently, he's quite sharp. He bowls low to mid 140s. Yep. I think they'll have their hands full with him if he bowls anything like that Shield final performance.
Yeah, spot on. So it's exciting to see, a couple, while they're both, certainly not young men, they've both been around, to see them have a crack. Hopefully we can jag a win or two, and then have the Cummingses, the Hazelwoods back for the back end. I heard today. I obviously knew Boland, but I wasn't aware of Doggett. But he's Indigenous, so it'll be the first time two Indigenous players have played cricket for Australia together. So that would be a pretty cool thing to happen. So yeah, obviously they brought Nessa in, but you'd be disappointed if Doggett didn't get the gig, being what he did in that final. So it's bloody exciting, right?
It is. I saw an article today talking about the pitch and that the Quicks would be excited. So we'll wait and see. But if the Poms want to tee up and try and go from ball one, I think they might find that a bit more challenging playing on the bouncy decks in Australia. But we will see. The other thing,
have we got enough runs in our top six, mate?
Well, that's the problem. Well, in saying that, Smith just looks unbelievable at the moment. The runs he's I saw the footage the other day. Did you see when he's on his way to 100? He's on 90 something, and he's doing shadow putting with his bat.
Yeah,
he's doing practicing his putting, mate. He hasn't got a care in the world. He's in the zone.
100%.
And Marnus is back.
Marnus is back,
churning out run after he hit I think 500s in 8 innings or something. But the rest of them, I hope they pick Weatherald. I think if you look at how the batters have struggled in Australia the last 5 years, he's been one of the few that's average over 50. I hope they give him a crack. I like the way he plays. He looks really compact and well set up. The rest of them are just a lottery. We could have, if Head explodes, we're golden. But the rest of them are a bit inconsistent. Although Aussie has got a good record in Australia, but that's generally on the slower tracks, so I'm not sure how we go in Perth.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for them. I think whether will get the nod, as you say. I think it'd be having two all-rounders in the side might be a bit of a stretch, especially if we've got two bowlers who haven't had a lot of Test match experience. So, he's probably going to get the nod, which will be a big occasion. Test debut, Ashes. It's a big summer for them, but to your point, with Marnus and Smith churning out the runs there, we've only got to get a couple of others to kick the tin, and all of a sudden it's a decent score. So you think England's going to get one or two Test match innings where they're going to go berserk. That's the way they play. But they're the tests that you try and squeeze out and hang on to and play Test match cricket. And, when you're on top of them, just dominate them when they do have those off Test matches. So, yeah, I don't know whether it's just this time of year or I'm like this all the time, but this is as excited as I've seen for an Ashes series. Genuinely cannot wait for Friday for day one to roll around.
Absolutely. The other thing is Mitch Starc from the white ball games in the lead up was in really good nick too. So and in the Shield too. So things looking pretty good. And poor old Mark Wood looks like he's injured again. It'll be really interesting to see if he plays. Done his hammy, and that was always the concern when they were talking up Archer and Wood. How they injured all the time. It'll be interesting to see how much cricket the two of them actually play. If they can string something together, particularly at Perth, maybe they go all right. But we will see.
Yeah, there's 5 tests that are just back to back to back. So it takes a special body to be able to handle it at the best of times, and they're not really durable. Let's put it that way. So, but yeah, to your point around Starc, he'll see this as an opportunity to be able to carry the attack without his mates there with him. So, it's all up for him to lead the attack, especially at Perth, right? So they're going to need to go early with the quick, so it'll be exciting for him.
Absolutely. We always do a bit of a wallaby watch, and it turns out they're crap again, and we can go back to making fun of
not watching.
Rugby Union. Well, it's not like I've watched any of the spring tour. You check out the results, and they seem to be heading in the right direction, but they've just been punished, and they got beaten by Italy. Like, mate. What a shit sport!
Yeah. You can't do that. You can't get beaten by Italy, mate.
And thinking about it, like R360 is happening. Like, do you remember the last time we were like league fans were right in on rugby union? It was really at a time when Takiri, Sailor and Rogers went over, there was plenty of interest then because we wanted to see how they went, and they definitely went well.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I mean, it doesn't help that they haven't been good for a long time. But it is.
Yeah, no, it's just fallen off a cliff, rugby union. I can't watch it. You talk about the old glory days of running rugby and being exciting. It mirrored a little bit more like rugby league, which is probably why it got the crowds going. But it's just a ball fest, mate. I don't even know what I can talk to you about it.
Let's let it go then. Mate, solid work on debut, mate. Well played. Let's hope the Aussie debutants go just as well come Friday and for the whole test. And I'll see you again next week, mate. Thanks for coming on.
No, appreciate it, mate. Hopefully we're talking about a good Aussie win this time next week.
Absolutely. You've taken the time to listen to this whole episode. Now it's time to take action. Commit to one thing you've learned today and make it happen. And to avoid any obstructions, join the Sport is Life movement by clicking on the link in the show notes.